so still you need to be on it.
It all comes down to tonight. Don't miss the biggest night in MMA. PFL is more than a fight.
Catching up on any NFL game is easier than ever before.
Looking to the end zone for the win!
Oh my gosh, one of the great games you'll ever see.
The competition is back, and the UEFA Women's Champions League looks set to be bigger and better than ever before.
It's their time. A night to remember.
following program is recommended for those 16 and over, as it contains sporting violence, possible bad language, and flashing imagery.
I am the avoided fighter in the heavyweight picture, and I back myself against any fighter out there.
I don't need to be perfect for 12 rounds. I just need to be perfect for that one moment.
I believe people avoid fighting me because I'm dangerous, and I have belief.
There's a lot on the line, there's a lot at stake. And someone's getting knocked out.
So let's get it on.
Knocking on the door for a world title. Incredible stuff. And it just takes one shot.
Look at that, looks nice, doesn't it? That chandelier. Welcome inside Glazers Hall. Big time boxing is back in London, back at the O2 Arena. We've had some good ones over the last 10 years. This could be a very good one as well. Joseph Parker versus Fabio Wardley. To discuss it with me at the press conference, two former world champions, Carl Frampton and Barry Jones. This is a good one, Carl. The heavyweight division right now is bubbling. There's one king, clearly one king, but there's a lot of princes, if you like, all wanting to challenge him.
Maybe about 10 or so. These two guys are certainly in that bracket, and I think it's a really, really good fight. I have to say I feel a bit sorry for Joe Parker that he seems to just be fighting for another chance to get a shot at Usyk, when I think he's probably the most deserving of that opportunity. But I think it's important that he stays busy before he does eventually fight Usyk, if that does come to fruition. But you have to feel sorry for Big Joe having to take another dangerous fight against a fighter like Fabio Wardley. And it is a dangerous fight as well. I guess for Joseph Parker, he just wants to fight. I mean, I've spoken to him so many times, and he hasn't had a fight since Martin Bakole, and that was only 4 minutes of action. He's been waiting for something. So Joseph Parker seems like the type of person, and you go down the resume, and I guess it rings true. He will fight anyone, and up steps Fabio Wardley.
Yeah, he shows throughout his career that his willingness to take that risk to, for a bigger fight, and he's realised he's had to do that, because for quite often in his career, he hasn't been the most marketable of fighters, though very good, but unassuming at times with his personality. But now he gets the opportunity. I mean, yet again, like he already did against Zhang and against Wilder, they should have been enough to get him a world title shot. But against Wardley, who's on a crest of a wave at the minute with his fantastic win recently, just to cement his position here, Parker, as maybe the next guy who should box Alexander Usyk. And we all think he should be next. He's earned the right for that, but yet he has to prove it yet again that he's the guy who should get that shot.
Is he number two? Usyk number one? Let's kind of remove Tyson Fury from this equation because we don't know what he's doing. Would you have Joseph Parker above Agit Kabayel?
Well, I'd say I would. Yeah. But it would be him and Kabayel 2 and 3, or other people may have it the other way around. But I think that it's clear who the number one in the division is. It's clear who the next two are in whatever order, and the rest are kind of behind that. But Kabayel's another great fighter. But Parker, I feel like I get that he's taking this. Why he's taking this fight? Because he needs to stay busy. He needs to be. He can't just have them rounds, the couple of rounds or whatever minutes it was against Bakole, and then go and fight someone like Usyk. So he needs momentum, and that's why he's doing it.
I spoke to Fabio Wardley yesterday, and he reminded me that when Joseph Parker beat Andy Ruiz to win his world title back in New Zealand, that was when Fabio Wardley first put on the gloves. That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, he's run in 10 years from white-collar boxer to where we are now, on the cusp of a world title shot. If he lands one of these on Joseph Parker, is incredible.
It really is. I mean, he's shown throughout his career winning that world title against Andy Ruiz first, in a close fight, but he got over the line. And how good was Andy Ruiz after that, beating Anthony Joshua, of course. And then he struggled in Manchester against Hughie Fury. That was a close fight, which he got over the line there. And then had that close and hard fought contest against Anthony Joshua in Cardiff. So he's boxed everybody. There's a few different generations of fighters there that he's fought, and he's maintained that excellence. I mean, he's one of those guys who just does enough to win. Quite often, in most of his career, has been that really good, but nothing's been shockingly brilliant. Just he knows how to win. That's a really good trait, that is. But this new Joseph Parker, 2.0, I guess you would want to say, is different to that.
Yeah.
He's taking more risks. He's mature now. We understand he's physically more mature, but mentally more mature. He realizes what he has to do. He's willing to take that risk, close the gap. Andy Lee, I think instilled that, educated risks, the difference between winning and elevating yourself to that top tier, which he clearly is now. So I think this sort of Parker is a danger for anybody. I don't think he beats Usyk, but I think he's a danger for him because he's not just the guy who does everything good. He's willing to go that extra step and take that risk to try and hurt you, to force the pace, things that a lot of people don't want to do. And he's a guy now who's willing to do it.
And it's a point that's been made a few times, but Joe Parker, it was a long time ago now that he was world champion. Yeah. I believe, and I think a lot of people believe, that he is a better fighter now than he was when he was a world champion. And a lot of that's down to, Joe himself, but also Andy Lee and the fine job he's done as a coach. So, like Barry said, he would be a heavy underdog against Usyk, but he's the most deserving of a shot at Usyk, and he's someone that Usyk doesn't have it all his own way against.
Let's talk Fabio Wardley, someone that I think now is definitely a top 10 heavyweight. When you look at all the rankings, his name seems to be there with everyone, finds a way. You spoke about Joseph Parker finding a way. Fabio Wardley, unbeaten. The only blemish is that draw against Fraser Clark, and we saw what happened when they fought second time round. But he just seems to have this grit and determination, even in this fight against Justice Hooney, where he's struggling, just kind of still, I'm going to still land it. And he landed it.
Yeah, he does, and he's always dangerous. The shot that he actually knocked Hooney out with was a really good shot. He kind of got his head off to the side and threw the right hand down the middle. So it was a neat, tidy shot. And coming from someone like Wardley, look at that, it's a great shot. But someone like Wardley, who was exhausted at this stage, without the amateur experience that we all know that he doesn't have, it's a white-collar background, then quickly into the pro game, to be able to deliver something like that when you're exhausted without that amateur pedigree, tells you this guy's a good fighter. But he's a brute. He's a big brute of a man, big puncher, and he's brave, and he's in exciting fights. And I think this one will be another one.
Are we looking at him having more than just a puncher's chance? Because that's what we know, right? He's been labelled the Ipswich Deontay Wilder because of that knockout power. Is it more than that? I mean, again, you talked about that slipping to the side and landing that shot against Justice Hooney. Do we need to give his boxing pedigree a bit more credit? No, and I think technically he is quite limited because he hasn't had the wealth of experience. He doesn't know how to react in situations. He's learning on the fly, if you will. But I've said it time and time again. I think it's very true. He's the most instinctive fighter we've had since Nigel Benn, and by that I mean when he's tired, when he's hurt, he's arguably his most dangerous. He's willing to take that risk to throw that punch. He just knows what to do when he's up against there. I mean, he almost has to force himself into a war to get the best out of himself. And Ben was like that. I mean, he showed in his last fight. He was getting outboxed. He was getting you can arguably say schooled. And then all of a sudden, he comes up with the goods. I mean, everything was against that. He was knackered. He was exhausted and mentally down. Must have felt sorry for himself, but still knows to throw that right punch. And I mean, you can't really teach that instinct. You've got it or you haven't. And what that does is, especially in this division, makes him a danger against anybody because you can be beating him up. I mean, literally dropping him a couple of times. You can be outboxing him, outfoxing him, everything. But he's always dangerous because he has that instinct to put himself in harm's way to get you out of the way. And like Nigel Benn did time and time again, he has that. So he's always in with the shot. Even in this fight, he's up against a guy who has more experience. He's technically a lot better, Cal, but he has that X factor that you can't really train for. Boxing's full of stories, right? I mean, the fact where you guys came from to become world champion is an incredible story in itself. His story, though, if he were to pull this off and then to fight Alexander Usyk, because we're hearing the winner of this will fight Usyk, I mean, that's a movie, isn't it?
It almost makes a mockery of boxing. I mean, that you can go from being a white-collar guy to become champion of the world. But I would love to see him do it. I think it'll be an amazing story. I think one thing we do have to say about Fabio as well is he has to be an improving fighter still because he's only been in the game for a number of years. So at this stage, you'd think that he's still getting better, even though he's not the youngest.
As well. I know he's had a couple of tough fights.
Had a couple of tough fights, but no real gym wars or anything. And the amateur stuff can take a lot out of people before they actually turn pro. So he hasn't had that to deal with, but reasonably fresh, improving with a good coach as well. So I think it's a really interesting fight.
All right, so much boxing coming your way on DAZN in the next couple of weeks as well. Let's have a look at this. This is the schedule for the next few days, and it's an incredible schedule as well. Obviously, the main one, the one we're all flying to Belfast for, is that rematch between Lewis Crocker and Paddy Donovan. The extra incentive now is that they will be fighting for the IBF welterweight title, vacated by Jaron Boots Ennis, who's now moved up to 154 pounds. That's an incredible schedule of fights just on Saturday. That's one day's worth of fights.
Not bad, is it?
It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Very quickly, before we do throw it to Dev, two very different type of training setups. I almost put Andy Lee in the old school mode, even though he's still very young. And you've got Ben Davison and Lee Wiley, who are very sort of intricate and technical. Who's got the better training setup?
There's no such thing, because one thing, you're only as good as your fighter.
Yeah.
And that, I would say that. And it's also about the relationship with the coach. So I know that Fabio Wardley's quite new with Ben Davison, but he has Robert Hutchins there, who's been with him for day one. So, there's a connection there. He knows their people. And Andy Lee just has a natural bond with fighters, because he's been a high-class fighter. I mean, arguably, probably the most successful boxer to become a successful trainer, if I worded that right.
Yeah.
Most boxers who have been where Andy has don't make good trainers, because they can't understand what it takes to get there, because of natural talent. But he understands what fighters need to do. So I think, having that bond and trust for your trainer is almost as important as the knowledge itself. So it's hard to say who has the upper hand in the camp.
Who's got the more to lose in this one? Is it obviously Joseph Parker because of where he is and who he's fighting?
Yeah, it was an easy one to answer, Addy. I think Joe Parker, like we said before, and we've said it so many times, he's deserving of a shot at Usyk, but he hasn't got that, and he's in another final eliminator now for a world title. So certainly Joe Parker has a lot more to lose in this fight than Fabio Wardley.
All right, quite a few faces on the table. We are ready for this press conference. Let's send it to your host, Dev Sani.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Welcome to London. As today, Queensberry and DAZN formally launch an absolute cracker coming your way. Date for your diary, October 25th from the O2 London, live, of course, around the world on DAZN. An outstanding clash between two of the best heavyweights in the world today, who are both walking that dangerous path towards heavyweight glory. Former world champion Joseph Parker is in the form of his career. He's the WBO interim heavyweight champion. He's ranked number 2 in the world with Ring Magazine, and a recent run of wins over Deontay Wilder, Zhilei Zhang and Martin Bakole have proved that he is ready and willing to fight any man, anytime, any place. Well, the next man is not just any man. He is unbeaten in 20 fights. Fabio Wardley is the WBA interim heavyweight champion. He's ranked number 7 in the world with Ring Magazine, and he has an incredible knockout rate of 94%. And he's proven that on any given night, at any given moment, he has the world-class punching power to end a fight with just one shot. And one trait that both of these men share is that they never walk away from a challenge. In fact, time and time again, they have proven they would rather walk directly towards the fire. And that's what awaits them on October 25th, ladies and gentlemen, because both Joseph Parker and Fabio Wardley will bring the fire. The winner will keep their world title dreams alive. And the loser, well, their world title dreams, for now at least, they will turn to ashes. Ladies and gentlemen, October 25th, live around the world on the global home of boxing DAZN from the O2 London. This is Parker versus Wardley. This is all or nothing. A lot of faces up here, a lot of people we need to speak to. I'm going to get an opening word from the fighters before we come back to them. I'm going to start with Fabio Wardley, because Fabio, as soon as this fight was formally announced, I saw a tweet from you which said, "Big fights only." It's not going to get much bigger than this right now. He's number 2 in the world. Big moment in your career.
Yeah, look, huge moment in my career. Defining moment, probably. Defining point, maybe a left turn or a right turn. But I am committed to that saying of big fights only, because, look, I've not come here to play around. I've not made it this far in my career to just hang about and wait for things to be handed to me. I'm very much a go-getter. Look, I made my way through the WBA rankings and got myself into a fantastic position there. But look, if that's not going to go how we planned, then I'm not just going to sit in the wings and wait. I'm going to be in Frank's ear and say, look, what's the next best opportunity here? What's the next best thing? And there is, while Alexander Usyk is tied up at the moment, there is no other better competitor, I think, in the division right now than the number 2 man, Joseph Parker.
And what makes you think you're ready to beat Joseph Parker?
I think at this stage in my career, I've ticked off the right amount of milestones. I've ticked off the right amount of rounds, ups, downs, the roller coaster moments in fights and in my career in general, that I've got enough experience now to take me through into a top level fight. I've been saying for a while now that I feel like I believe I deserve to be mentioned amongst those names, and people maybe still have reservations and question marks. So October 25th is where I kind of wipe that all clean by beating Joseph Parker and announcing really and truly that it's undeniable that I am shoulder to shoulder with those kind of guys.
Okay, thanks, Fabio. Let's get an opening word from Joseph Parker. And Joseph, once again, like so many times in your career, you are walking towards the fire. He's the biggest puncher out there right now, knocking everyone out. Tell us why you're taking this fight and tell us your thoughts.
Afternoon, everyone. Good to see you all here today. Thanks to my team for making this fight happen. Walking towards the fire. I love the fire. I fought a lot of fighters out there with big punches, and they haven't really been able to get me out of there. So I want to give credit to Fabio Wardley for taking this fight. We could have sat and waited for Usyk for when he's ready or not injured. But we, as fighters, are showing that we'll fight anyone, anytime. I think this is going to be a great fight. I know Wardley is determined, and he's said he's ticked all those boxes and got the rounds in that he needs to have a big fight like this. But fighting a person like myself is very different to fighting everyone else that he's fought. I bring a lot of experience. I bring, same as in belief, determination, and I will win come to 25th October.
Joseph, one final one before I bring in Frank Warren. What does this come down to? Is this all about levels here?
Yeah, there are levels. There's they do say there's levels in boxing, and I believe with the experience that I have and what I've been working on in New Zealand with George, and I got Andy by my side, got a good base, and it's just I'm excited to see what I can do in the ring.
Okay, Joseph, Fabio, your mics are both live. Feel free to come back in if you hear anything. I'll be coming to you guys at the end as well. Let's bring in Hall of Fame boxing promoter Frank Warren. And Frank, in this incredible heavyweight division, it's big fight after big fight. Talk to us about this fight. Why is it so significant in the division, please?
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming along. Why is this fight so significant? Because you've got two guys who don't need to fight each other. Both are interim champions of their respective divisions. WBO Joe Parker, WBA Fabio. Usyk, he's out for 90 days. The WBO have said that at the end of those 90 days, he has to defend that belt, or he will be stripped, or he will vacate it. So this fight is made because the winner of it will be the man who will be the next challenger to Usyk. That's as simple as that. And if he doesn't fight them, the winner could be declared champion if he vacates. So you've got to take your hat off to both of them. They're not waiting their turn. The WBO is the next turn. Joe wants to fight. He doesn't want to wait till next year. Otherwise, be waiting probably until March now, seeing as Usyk's out. He won't be able to get into training. And with Fabio, he sees this as a shortcut. He could wait his turn as being the interim champion. But Usyk, when he holds the 4 belts, there's no unification fights. Therefore, a guy who fights twice a year, if you're one of those challengers, you could be waiting 2 years before you get your chance. So for Fabio, he's seizing the chance. As he said, it could be a defining moment for him. He has the desire. He's a KO specialist. He can punch, and he's putting it all on the line, as is Joe Parker. He doesn't need to do this fight. He's fighting because he's a fighting man. He has tremendous experience. And at the end of the day, there'll be a winner and there'll be a loser. And for the winner, it'll be all. And for the loser, it'll be nothing, because the loser will go back down the queue. So that's what this fight's all about. Two fighting men putting it on the line to go out there and fight for the right, for fighting for the 4 belts.
Thank you, Frank. I was going to ask you about the Usyk situation, but I think you've cleared it all up within that. So much on the line, of course, October 25th. Let's move over to Michael Ridout from DAZN. And Michael, another fantastic heavyweight fight coming up on DAZN. You must be excited.
Very excited. And look, thanks everybody for coming today and braving another brilliant tube strike. This is a massive week in boxing. Not only are we here today announcing an amazing heavyweight clash, but of course, there is the small matter of an incredible world title fight this weekend, where all eyes of the boxing world will, of course, be on Belfast. Paddy Donovan, Lewis Crocker, they rematch in front of a packed Windsor Park, and of course, it's live on DAZN this Saturday. But back to matters at hand. This is an amazing fight, as Frank and everybody else has set up here. This is two guys who are in pole position to fight for a world title, but they're throwing caution to the wind. Joe and Fabio, they've made their intentions very clear. They do not want to wait around on the sidelines. They want to fight, and on October 25th, we are definitely going to witness a fight. Two men who have proved themselves to be elite amongst the heavyweights. They come forward, they throw bombs for our entertainment, and we will all be entertained, and you can watch the fight live only on DAZN.
Thank you very much, Michael. Let me bring in David Higgins, who's been by Joe Parker's side for the entirety of his career. You've seen the highs, you've seen the lows. Tell me what you're thinking heading into this fight, and how confident are you that Joe Parker will indeed defeat Fabio Wardley October 25th?
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Great to be here. First, I'd like to thank Queensberry Promotions' Frank Warren for getting this fight on at quite short notice. Often these fights take a long time to put together, and to thank Manuka Doctor, our team sponsor. Fantastic to be back fighting in London for Joseph. It's like a second home in the UK. Built a great rapport with the fan base here. You know, I can't help but think, I mean, credit to Fabio Wardley for stepping up. A lot of boxers don't, and pad records, etc. To Frank Warren's point, you know, it's easy to pad. A lot of people in Joseph Parker's position would choose to wait instead of taking a risk. So Fabio, I can't help but think that, I think when Fabio started as a pro, or as a white-collar fighter, Joseph Parker in 2016 beat Andy Ruiz to win the WBO Heavyweight World title in Auckland, New Zealand in 2016. And since that time, you look at the names on Parker's resume, you've got Anthony Joshua, Dillian White, Joe Joyce, he beat Derek Chisora twice. You've got Bacoli, Zhang, Wilder, and that run of the last three, Wilder, Zhang, Bacoli, in just over 12 months. Can you think of a bit of a run in heavyweight boxing history to put those three away in about a year? There wouldn't be many better runs. So you've got Joseph Parker at the very peak of his powers, and Wardley, I'm sure, will be thinking about that now that it all sinks in, and credit to him for stepping up.
Why does he win? Why does Parker win? Is this just about levels?
Definitely about levels. I mean, I have mass respect for Wardley for stepping up, but on paper, every advantage really, speed, experience, the names on the resume, and so I think there are levels, and we're going to find out on 25 October.
Let's bring in someone who will most certainly disagree with you in terms of Michael Offo from Platform Sports. I saw actually, Michael, you and Fabio had a little smirk amongst yourselves when David Higgins mentioned the run of the 3 fights being one of the best in history. Talk to me, what are you thinking?
You know, we've come against them before and we're 1-0 up with Dillian White, so we've heard it all before. And I just think the difference between these two warriors is that when Fabio has a bad day, he finds a way to win. And I think it's going to be as simple as that. No matter how tough it gets, no matter how difficult it gets in there, Fabio will find a way to win. He's got the authority in there, and he's got the ability to be patient and execute his game plan. So, you know, it's good to be with Queensberry, and it's going to be a dominant performance from us, and I can only see it going one way, and that's a KO from Fabio Wardley.
Hey, with respect, since that lucky headbutt Dillian White got, we've been offered him a rematch 100 times, and has not wanted to even communicate. So
I'll disagree there. We tried to make that fight, and you guys were being unreasonable. And look, let's be honest. You're a prop up here. You know, you had to call in the big guns, Spence and Uncle Frank, to get Parker to the top level. So, you know,
I think my career stands on its own against yours, brother.
Let's see. You know, we're here, we're ready, and like I said, Fabio's gonna dominate your guy. Like I said, you're a prop here, so I'd rather speak with the big dogs than speak with you.
Big dog, do you have a comment?
Yeah, it's quite interesting actually what you just said there. I think you dodged a bullet last time, didn't you? You dodged a big bullet, and you have. I'm not taking anything away from Fabio. He's a great fighter. I wouldn't like to meet him in a dark alley, that's for certain. He's a great fighter. He's very tenacious, but with Joe Parker, this is a completely different animal. He's got better and better in the last 2 years. His team's changed, his nutrition's changed. I just think that there is levels. I think Fabio Wardley's definitely in the level, but this might be one step too far. After what we saw with Justice Hooney, you know, it was a very difficult night for him, but he came through. Fair enough, he came through, knocked him out, but you can't keep doing that. And listen, there's no nicer man than Fabio Wardley. But he's going to meet his match with Joe Parker. Please believe me.
If you dodge a bullet and then get shot in the head, it's irrelevant. So, you know, the fight was the fight. And
yes, I'm not taking that away from you. I'm just saying.
So we don't even need to bring it into play.
Well, why not?
The win.
Look, you've
got the win.
You've got to beat. You're beating Australia now. You got the big dogs. The New Zealanders are walking in now, right? These are a completely different animal. And I'm telling you, you will find that in this fight. You wait and see. But not taking anything away. You dodged the bullet. You got away with it. Fair play.
He dodged a bullet and shot him in the head. So that's all. That's
I don't know about that.
Needs to be
I don't know about that. But anyway,
he didn't
fair play to him. He's here now, and he's here with Joseph now. So let's see what the next chapter holds.
That is one of the stories heading into this fight. Of course, Justice Hooney was your last win, Fabio, and Spencer Brown represents Justice Hooney just like he does Joseph Parker. Talk of dodging a bullet. I mean, what are your reflections on that, and how much have you learned? Can you learn enough in the 4 months between that fight and this fight with Joe Parker?
Yeah, look, I don't know if necessarily I'd call it dodging a bullet. I think I just knocked out the man holding the gun. Look, ultimately, on BoxRec, go have a look. It will just say win. It won't say, oh, Fabio Wardley had a close fight and he quote-unquote dodged a bullet. It will just say Fabio Wardley versus Justice Hooney and a W next to my name. And ultimately, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. It's finding a way. It's finding a way to win. And that thing is innate in me. It's built in me. That's not going to change no matter Justice Hooney, no matter Joseph Parker, no matter Alexander Usyk. That is built into me. It's not going to be this anything different, and I understand. I'm very aware of the challenge in front of me is a different one faced than Justice Hooney, but ultimately, I did ask for this. I asked for this opportunity. I asked for this fight, so I have full faith, full confidence in myself that I'm at this level and able to beat and knock out Joseph Parker. That I have all the skills and all the abilities to do so. I just need to put it together properly on the night and get it done.
Joseph, your opponent here is unbeaten in 20 fights, but we have seen him draw with Fraser Clarke. We did see that Justice Hooney fight in which he did lose rounds. Do you feel like the blueprint on how to beat Fabio Wardley is already out there?
You know what? I'm a different fighter to all those fighters that he's fought before. Very different, and I'll show you on the 25th.
Let me ask you this. I've heard you say that you're not going to go into this fight and back off. You said, in fact, if he wants to meet me in the middle, we can. That sounds like a high-risk strategy against someone with a 94% knockout rate. Do you stand by that?
Yeah, I want to have a fight. I've been wanting a fight for a long time now, since February, so I have a fight. Let's get in the ring of this fight. Let's meet in the middle and let's trade.
That sounds like Christmas come early for you, Fabio, surely.
Yeah, look, centre of the ring, swinging it out is home sweet home to me. It's where you see the best of me. It's where you see the most out of me. It's a place where I think I'm at my best, to be honest. So it's a dangerous place for Parker to put himself. But again, credit to him for taking the fight, and credit to him for wanting to stand there with me and trade it out. Let's just see if that comes to fruition on the night, because you know what you get with me. That much is obvious. So I'll be there, stood in the middle of that ring, ready and waiting.
Joseph, one thing that Fabio has said is that he doesn't need to be perfect for 12 rounds. He just needs to be perfect for one moment, and that's all it takes. But haven't you heard all this before with Deontay Wilder?
Listen, I've been in the ring with a lot of fighters. There's nothing new that I haven't faced. So when it comes down to this fight, obviously we're going to use Camp as a way of analysing things that he does good and bad, come up with a game plan with Andy and George, and let's get it on. Like, I'm ready to fight. I've been ready to fight for a long time. Now I have one locked in. I can't wait.
Fabio, I just want to ask you, because you and Michael both kind of smirked amongst yourselves when David Higgins was talking about the run of the 3 wins, the Wilder, the Zhang, the Bacoli. Do you think maybe Joseph Parker is getting too much credit for those wins? Because there is another argument out there that perhaps it wasn't the best Wilder, wasn't the best Zhang, wasn't the best Bacoli. What do you think? Where do you stand on it?
Well, I think we can all agree in this room that wasn't the best Bacoli. But that's not a slight on Joseph Parker at all. To look, all you can do is beat the men in front of you. I think it was the specific wording that I had a slight chuckle with. That David Higgins said. I think it was the best heavyweight run in history was maybe the
one
Wilder.
of the best. Those names would be
semantics.
Justice Honey, Zhang, Justice Honey, Wilder, Justice Honey, Bacoli.
That's not the point in question, though. The point was, as you said, it's the best run in history, and that was just an area.
I didn't say the best run in history. I said it would stack up as one of the best runs in history, and it would.
Semantics, again, no problem. It's fine, no bother. But like I say, I'm not taking anything away from Parker and those wins, because all you can do is beat the men in front of you, and they are good fighters with good resumes and good records, and they pose threats. But I'm not those men. I'm a very different fighter from all 3 of those guys. I'm not no 30-odd stone Bacoli. I'm not no 15 stone Wilder, who's not a Wilder we've seen the same for a number of years, nor am I a 40-year-old plus Zhang, who's gassed after 4 or 5 rounds. So I'm an entirely different animal. I'm an entirely different beast. So although, again, like I'll say again and again, I'm not going to take anything away from Joseph Parker, because they're great fights, great wins, and there's nothing you can take away from a man that gets in there and beats whoever's put in front of him. But I'm not those men.
Joseph, yesterday when you guys were on TalkSport, the whole concept of the white collar background was brought up, and you said, let's not talk about this white collar stuff. Do you feel like Fabio is kind of relying on that, almost like an inbuilt excuse if it doesn't go his way? What do you think?
No, I think the white collar, it's a great story. He started off as a white collar fighter, and he's progressed in his professional career, and we've seen him improve each and every time he jumps in the ring. So that's the old story of Fabio Wardley. There's a new story now.
And what is that story going to read on October the 25th?
Well, that story is different. On October 25th, that story stops there. It's a Parker win, and I'm going to go home and celebrate and eat some nice junk food.
Fabio, final one to yourself before I close off with Frank. What are the headlines going to say about Fabio Wardley October 25th?
White collar Wardley does it again.
Frank, the appetite is wet, an absolute sizzler coming up October 25th. Why should fans tune in for this one?
Because you heard it from the horse's mouth. It's going to be a shootout. As soon as that bell goes in the first round, they're going to get down on it. They're going to be throwing bombs, and somebody will go. It's going to be a great fight. All or nothing. It's on the line. The winner will get Usyk. That's what they're fighting for. Buy a ticket. Watch it on DAZN, the home of heavyweight boxing. This is going to be something special.
There's not been a fight at the O2 for a long time either. So, not a big one like this. So, fair play to you, Frank. Fair play to your team, Fabio. David Higgins, because they put this together very, very well and very quickly. So hats off to everybody. And it's going to be a big fight and a sellout, 1,000,000%.
1,000,000% tickets on general sale, of course, tomorrow. Let's get these fighters faced off. But October 25th, DAZN. It's Parker versus Wardley. It's all or nothing.
Couple of things there. Right at the end, I think Spencer Brown kind of hit the nail on the head. I do think this one will sell out. I think there is a massive appetite now for heavyweight boxing, just boxing in general in the country. But two boys, I say boys, two big men in Joseph Parker and Fabio Wardley who deliver. I mean, sometimes you can put these heavyweights together and you're not quite sure. I feel like you look at these two and their styles and just what they've done in the last sort of 4 or 5 fights. These guys will deliver, Carl. That's how they fight.
I can't see it being anything other than a good fight. Like Fabio kind of says, we know what he's all about. He's raw, he's aggressive, and up until this point, he's found a way to win every time he's fought. Well, sorry, he drew one, didn't he? But Joe Parker, we know a lot about him. I think Joe's a much better fighter now than he was when he was a world champion, when he defeated Andy Ruiz. I think he said 2016. So
yeah,
I think it's going to be an incredible fight. Both guys are respectful of each other. I think Mike Ofo was trying to wind it up a little bit, and I think he might have got under Joe's skin a wee bit, to be honest. He was a bit pissed off, a bit annoyed, but I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, two big lumps as well. And, I mean, this is it, right? I mean, one step away from, and look, potentially, this could be a full world title. Potentially, Usyk could say, you know what, I'm vacating, and one of these guys could be upgraded. But I guess the real carrot being dangled is you could fight Alexander Usyk in the new year.
Yeah, and all the motivation you need. And the reason why this would be a good fight, in my opinion, is Parker will know to beat Wardley, you got to push him back. I think you have. I mean, the last you want is someone like Wardley coming at you, swinging shots over the top with forward momentum. Yeah. So you got to push him back. But with that, you got to go. You got to put yourself in that danger zone, in that place where you might get caught with a shot that he can swing at you. But I think if you can push, once you get through that stage, through that door, you start pushing him back. There's less power on the shots. He doesn't have he hasn't got the experience again from the amateurs. I know it almost doesn't matter now, but it will play a factor if you can push him back. How he reacts to that.
And that is the lack of the amateur experience. Like Fabio, without criticising, like he's better going forward than he is coming back. So Joe, like you said, I imagine will be looking to go forward and stop that momentum.
That makes it a great fight, doesn't it? Because with that, he's going to have to take some shots.
All right, look, not just that one, October 25th, so many big fights as well coming up. Paddy Donovan versus Lewis Crocker, it should be a good one. We are 100% the home of boxing.
Hey, listen up. Let's have it. We know you've always got your eye on the prize, the championship belt. And why wouldn't you? You're a finely tuned, well-oiled boxing watching machine, capable of consuming over 185 fights on DAZN every year.
We've gone big, we've gone global.
Churning through combinations, comebacks, and non-stop knockouts. With big fights every week, you're the best in the world. So go on, get that belt, champ. DAZN, undisputed.
Yeah, so many big fights coming your way in the next few months. And just look at this for a lineup. We go to Scotland for Nathaniel Collins versus Lorente. Remember that one, European title fight. Boots Ennis, now 154-pounder, will take on Lima in his first fight in the new division. Big fights coming for Boots if he wins that. Dave Allen versus Arslanbek Makhmudov in the heavyweight division. Doesn't get much bigger than Makhmudov. Dave Allen looking to chop down the tree. And then this fight, I think it's the best fight card of the year. Night of Champions. We go to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The headline act, David Benavidez versus Anthony Yard. Brian Norman versus Devin Haney. And Barry Jones' best fighter on planet Earth, Jesse Ban Rodriguez, in action on that as well. All right, 3 have become 4 on stage. The stage has been reinforced somewhat as well because Fabio Wardley has joined us. Fabio, you've been around him now for a couple of days. You did the little face-off, you did talk sport. What's it like being around him when you're that close up to Joseph Parker?
Yeah, look, I think me, Joe, everyone kind of understood the kind of week we would be having here. There wasn't going to be no argy-bargy, pushing and pulling.
I tried.
Yeah, you tried, Dev tried, everyone's tried. I think the fortunate thing about this fight is the mesh of us, our two styles, the way we fight, the way we get going. We don't need to do all that to settle a fight. All you need to do is put our two names, our two heads on a poster, tell people where we're going to be, when we're going to be there, and they'll turn up.
Carl, that's what I was saying just before Fabio came on the stage. Like, you know exactly what you're getting with these two. Sometimes when you see these matchups, you're not quite sure, but You only have to look at what these guys have done in the last 3 or 4 fights, and I think we know what kind of fight we're going to get.
Yeah, I think so. I think we all know what we're going to get from Fabio. He's someone who tries to win by knockout, and that's what we want to see. It's an exciting trait for a heavyweight to have, and we know. I think Joe maybe isn't as aggressive as Fabio. He can box a little bit more if he has to as well. But I think that Joe's best chance, and we spoke about it just before you come on stage, is if he pushes you backwards. Would you be fair and set? Which means you're going to meet in the middle of the ring, we think anyway, and I think it's going to be an exciting fight.
Yeah, we tried to already make up the fight in our head.
What were the predictions? Who's betting on who then? Come on. We're all lined up.
I haven't made a prediction yet.
No? What we got?
So Fabio...
yeah, look at changing the subject.
Everyone talks about, the white-collar background and the lack of amateur experience. And it is a thing, but you've been a pro long enough now, I think, and you've had enough high-level fights to sort of put that to bed. It's a great story, but I mean, you're experienced now in championship level, because you've had the draw with Fraser Clark, which was an absolute war. Still one of the best fights I've seen live, I've got to be honest. But what did you learn from the last fight? Even though you got the win, but you were getting on boxing stages. What did you learn, good and bad?
I've had that discussion with people today in different interviews and things, and I've said, that's, like, don't get me wrong. Say I boxed perfectly, everything went to plan, knocked him out in 6-7 rounds, great, ticked it off, great, okay. But actually, it not going to plan forced me to have to sit down with the team and assess that fight, assess myself, and look at me and go, actually, what did we do wrong here? What was not right? Where did we make mistakes? And which has led me into going into this fight more experienced, more self-aware, because maybe if I'd have cruised through that fight, I get into the Joseph Parker fight thinking everything's all fine and dandy, when actually there's some holes and gaps there I need to adjust and change, and figuring that out in that fight and getting the win, great, fantastic, has then led me to be in a better position going into this fight, knowing the things that I need to change and adjust and sort out in amongst myself.
Would you go as far as saying it was almost the perfect learning fight for you, that you got the result in the end, you won the fight, but there was periods where you did make some mistakes and Huni was looking good in the fight, you came through and done the job? Was that the perfect learning fight for you, rather than going out and blowing someone like Huni away in 2 or 3 rounds?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the best way to look at it. It was a fantastic learning fight for me to step up into this next level of, like, right, Fabio, what are these last little bits? You've done well in your career of ticking opponents off, and you've cruised through pretty well, pretty comfortably. But what are these last few bits you need to tick off, because you're now stepping into that real kind of 1% of the division. And that fight really exposed that and showed that for me, which is fantastic. But another thing for me is what we've shown is another performance you may look at and say, he didn't do too well in that one, would be Fraser Clark 1. And then we look at me, how I come into Fraser Clark 2 and how I adapted, how I changed, how I assessed myself. So if I compare those two things, all I'm going to do is take that bad performance, tweak it, sort it out, and look, we may even say a rinse repeat again. It's a different opponent, don't get me wrong, but we may see a rinse repeat.
Final one, Fabio, before we let you go. Are you thinking of this as a world title fight? Because there's a good chance Alexander Usyk does vacate, and whoever wins this gets elevated, or are you just thinking of this as another big fight?
Well, one way or another, this is a world title fight. Whether he gives up the belt or not, it's either I fight him for the belt or he gives up the belt. This is a world title shot for me. This is the one. And there's no point thinking ahead until I've got past this one. So for me, this is all or nothing. This is the last dance. It's the last one you'll ever do. I'm viewing it like it's the last fight I'll ever fight. It's my world title fight. It's the big crescendo. This is everything. I know there's a lot more to come after, but for right now, in this moment, this is everything.
And we wish you good luck, Fabio, on it.
Thank you.
Remember, it isn't just boxing on DAZN. We are the home of sport as well.
Watch the National League on DAZN and follow your club all season long, because it's not just a game, it's your badge. Witness heart, passion and pride with every game live or on demand. 1-0 up or 2-0 down. Home or away, it's on. Plus action from the North and South Leagues. Watch on DAZN and follow your club.
We're not just competing, we're inventing, pushing the boundaries of stamina and speed. We're taking the titles, the big money, and writing history. From new challengers to certified legends. This is where you watch. We're not here to play games. DAZN Women's Sports.
Yeah, you see it there. More than just boxing on DAZN. Make sure you check out the DAZN schedule for loads of sport as well, including Serie A and National League, which I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of this man as well. Big Joseph Parker joins us, a man that's finally got his fight.
Yeah.
I feel like every time we meet, it's like, when, and now we have a date, you're locked in, it's Fabio Wardley. Is it relief? Like, okay, now we can just actually train for something?
It's like, I have a fight, and I can't wait to fight. Like, you just, as a fighter, I'm not sure if it's the same with you guys, but you just want to fight. Like, you do all this training, and you can build yourself away, you can do all the runs and strength work, whatever it is, but you just want to fight. And I love fighting.
Were there any other names other than Fabio in the mix? I mean, how does it work? Did your team come and say, okay, there's this one, there's this one, there's this one, or was it just Fabio?
I was hounding Frank, right? Just Frank.
I know.
What is next? Frank, what's happening? Please, who am I fighting next? And he said Fabio Wardley, and then he said maybe Dubois end of the year. I said I wanted both.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to lock in fight after fight after fight and just keep going.
You feel like, Joe, you've been a bit unfairly treated? The fact that you had that amazing run that David Higgins talked about. In my opinion, and I think everyone else up here, you should be fighting Usyk next. But now you've got another eliminator before you get Usyk. Have you been unfairly treated, do you think?
I'm not really fussed. I'm just happy to have a fight.
Yeah.
Honestly, but a lot of people are saying that I should be fighting for a world title. When the time comes to fight for a world title, it'll come, right? But for now, just fight whoever's in front of you and just keep momentum. I need momentum. I need to keep going.
So, Joe, we've been talking about arguably you're a better fighter now than you were when you won the world title in 2016. But most fighters who garnish the experience that you have are jaded,
Yes.
so they've had the fight. But you seem like you're more youthful now than you were then, but with the experience.
Yeah, it's crazy, yeah.
Yeah,
12, 13 years in the game, and I still feel like now is the best time in my career. Like, I love it, I enjoy it. I got Andy Lee, who's the master teacher. I got George Lockhart, looks after everything else. And I guess when you have the perfect sort of combination, you just love it.
Is that what it is? Your team and the structure and diet and all that, that's changed?
When everything comes together, you're just like, you know what, why didn't I have this before, right? But I appreciate it now, because I have it now. And I look back, I go, you know what, I had to go through all of that to get to where I am today.
We spoke yesterday, and I was going through your run from Carlos Takam to where we are now, and it's name after name after name. Honestly, you duck no one. What would you say was your best performance where you felt like, okay, we kind of ticked every single box? Of that run, what was the best version of Joseph Parker you think you've been?
I think the best version would be like the big step up to Wilder, and everyone thought I was going to get knocked out.
Yeah.
And I think that fight or that camp, I just did like every other camp with George Lockhart and Andy Lee. I just did everything right. And then like from then, I've just been building away. But I felt like at that fight, even though Wilder may have been the same or may have not been the same fighter, that fight sort of really got me focused and disciplined on everything.
Do you feel like it's a different fighter, but in the bravery you showed, and the tactics were brilliant, but you had to be brave to do it. You had to put yourself in the fire.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's the same in this fight? Because we think that the push Fabio back would be the key.
I think so too. I think when you see...
But it takes some bravery, doesn't it, to do that?
It takes bravery, because you can walk into a big shot, but you have to back yourself. Listen, I do back my chin, but I don't want to get hit. I don't want to be going, you know. But you do have to back yourself, and I do. I back myself and my ability, and I know that if I can push him back, then I can dominate the fight and have it my way.
Normally when, if you like, a non-Brit fights a Brit in Britain, the non-Brit will get booed in and the Brit will get cheered. I have a feeling that it's almost going to be a 50-50 split because you're like an adopted Brit.
I feel like, you know what? It's nice to have a fight here again. It's been a long time since I fought here.
Yeah.
But
There'll be a lot of parties supporting you as well, Joe. Obviously, you're camp based in Dublin now.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel the love when we come here. And you're right, I will have supporters in the crowd supporting me.
Yeah. What's the plan, Joe, for you? Is it this one then, no matter what, has to be Usyk? I mean, I know you don't want to look past Fabio, and I know you've got your team that will make sure you don't. But are you screaming that after this, it has to be Usyk?
After this, it's whoever they put in front of me again.
That's you, isn't it? That's
no,
you.
just...
What an attitude.
It should be Usyk, but we can say that.
You can scream for Usyk all you want. Usyk will do whatever he wants to do. I just want to fight whoever they put in front of me and just keep it going.
Good man, Joe.
Joe, good man. Appreciate you, Joe. Thank you very much. Look, I know there's going to be about 1,000 interviews for you, Joe. So there is a back way. You can sneak out there. You can get the car, go upstairs, and you're gone. But Joseph Parker, look, good luck. October 23rd. Thank you very much.
Joe.
Top man.
I'll take that, Mike. Don't worry, I'll do that. There you go. You can go, Joe. I love Joseph Parker.
He's hard not to like a big man, isn't it?
Too nice to be honest.
No, he is. Both of them. That's the difficulty because both of them are so nice. But again, we know exactly what both are going to do in the ring. And you're right, Cole. I know you keep saying it, but you're right. He does deserve a world title
He
shot.
does, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, when you have that run, and I know we laughed at David Higgins, or at least we smirched when he said the greatest run ever, because he did say that.
Yeah.
But those 3 names at the time as well, Zhang was a big problem for everyone. We didn't know what Wilder was going to be like. And Martin Bakoli came overweight, but Martin Bakoli just put a beating on Jared Anderson. So it's 3 really top 10 guys.
But his attitude with, because I would be down in the dumps thinking, oh, they've given me this big hard fight with the promise of a world title fight. Then I got to do another one, and I got to do another one. You'd be like, this is not fair. You would feel sorry for yourself. But like, he has the attitude with whatever the next fight is, it's the next fight. Okay, the money's good. I understand that, but no, he's earning good money. No, and you still have that ambition. You can see it, to be a world champion, as Carl knows, and to be a 2-time world champion, as Carl has been. That puts you in an elite bracket. It really does.
You know, final one before we wrap here. I spoke about potentially the winner being elevated to a world championship status. You guys have been world champions before. Would that annoy you, or do you want to beat the man? I mean, do you care, or do you want to beat who is number 1?
You want to win it in the ring.
You want to win it in the ring rather than be elevated to become a champion without having a fight. So, not that they wouldn't have had a fight. I mean, we know, you know what I mean. But I think you would prefer to win it. But I think that I think Joe would love a shot at Usyk.
Yeah.
Obviously, he has to get through Fabio, which is no easy task. All the pressure's on him going into this fight as well. He has to do that first. But I would love to see him fight Usyk for all the belts as well. Hope that that's the case and that can happen, rather than the belts fragment and he fights maybe someone else, another champion. But I would love to see the winner of this, not just saying Joe Parker, but the winner of this, Fabio or Joe, go on and fight Alexander Usyk for all the belts.
That's what we want, isn't it? We want the big fights. We want the big fights, and they're all on DAZN, including this one, October 25th. We're back to the O2 Arena, a place that we haven't been for so long. Make sure you tune in. If you can't get there, you know where to buy the event as well. Remember, just go to DAZN/boxing. And also, don't forget, this Saturday, live on DAZN, the big one from Belfast, Lewis Crocker versus Paddy Donovan for the IBF welterweight title. Myself, Carl, and Barry will be there with our double-breasted suits. We're going to come nice and sharply dressed for that one. We'll see you on Saturday.
I am the avoided fighter in the heavyweight picture, and I back myself against any fighter out there.
I don't need to be perfect for 12 rounds. I just need to be perfect for that one moment.
I believe people avoid fighting me because I'm dangerous, and I have belief.
There's a lot on the line, there's a lot at stake. And someone's getting knocked out.
So let's get it on.
Knocking on the door for a world title. Incredible stuff. And it just takes one shot.
This is all or nothing.
This is the moment the world has been waiting for. The judges are ready. The fighters are ready. The boxing world is ready. The fight starts now. Let's go. How do you like it? On the show. So aggressive, so focused. It all comes down to this. With a corner knockdown. Still the undisputed champion of the world. Press conference live on DAZN.